The thing about aliens is, you never know how they're going to show up. While sure, most arrive with straightforward death and destruction, blowing up our world capitals and demanding to be taken to our leaders, some come in the form of psychological nightmares, and some make us question whether we're even the good guys at all. However they come, when the aliens do arrive, we'll have centuries of stories to draw on to know how to handle them. Everyone thought you were a nerd for reading War of the Worlds at recess. But when they're all freaking out when the little green men inevitably come for us, you'll be ready. Join me on this episode of Trope Trek as we dive into all the ways aliens can ruin your day. The alien invasion trope is one of the most iconic in science fiction, often reflecting humanity's fears, hopes, and questions about the unknown. Whether it's a hostile attack, a slow takeover, or an accidental first contact gone wrong, alien invasion stories explore war, survival, and the limits of human understanding. There are many different subgenres of alien invasion, and if you're interested, let me know and I'll do some deep dives, but they share certain characteristics. The invasion itself, is it a full-scale assault like War of the Worlds, or stealth like Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Is it a first contact gone wrong like Pandora's Star, or humans fighting back after an invasion like Starship Troopers or the Forever War? And the aliens, are they unbeatable monsters? Technologically superior advanced species? Psychic or literal parasites? Or morally complex beings we can't understand? And they share themes about the fear of the unknown, about war and its consequences, about human arrogance and expansionism, and about the very act of survival. Do we come together or fight amongst ourselves? And in the end, they let us imagine the ultimate what-if scenario. Are we alone in the universe? And if not, what would happen if they show up and they're not friendly? My Boundless series begins with an unconventional alien invasion. They're not arriving from another world, but another dimension, led by immortal beings who can walk between universes. The outcome is still the same. Things blow up and the planet is conquered, and it's up to the heroes to figure out how to beat them. From time loops to interstellar wars, there are thousands of different ways the aliens can come for us. And these books take the alien invasion trope to the next level. Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. Juan Johnny Rico joins the Mobile Infantry, an elite military unit fighting a war against the arachnids, a terrifying insectoid alien species. The book follows his training, combat and missions, and personal evolution as he learns what it means to be a soldier in an all-out interstellar war. This is pure military sci-fi, a full-on war against an alien species with Earth banding together to throw everything we have at the evil bugs. It's got massive battles, sacrifice and loss, everything you want in a Space Marines versus alien monsters story. The aliens are a mindless hive-like enemy, much like the xenomorphs from Aliens or the Tyranids from Warhammer 4K. They don't think for themselves, and are nothing but drones following orders. It's got deep political themes about duty, citizenship, and war, and the lengths we'll go to defeat an enemy, to the extent of losing our humanity in the process. It is a blueprint for military sci-fi, and has influenced everything from Halo to The Expanse. But more than just action, it's got political and philosophical themes on war and society. If you love reading about futuristic warfare, this is a classic. The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. William Mandela is drafted into an interstellar war against an alien species called the Taurans. Because of time dilation, the phenomenon that time slows down as you go faster during space travel, every time he returns from battle, decades or even centuries have passed on Earth. As the war drags on, humanity changes beyond recognition, leaving Mandela stranded in a war with no end, fighting for society he no longer belongs in. This novel fits into the alien invasion trope because it explores the idea of war as an endless cycle, both literally and figuratively. The aliens are an unknown, misunderstood enemy, mirroring real-world conflicts, and it contains deep themes of isolation, the passage of time, and the soldiers' struggle to return home. It is a personal, emotional take on war in sci-fi, influenced by the author's experience in Vietnam, and perfect for fans of hard sci-fi who want deep themes about war, time, and humanity. And along with Starship Troopers, it is one of the most celebrated military sci-fi books of all time. If you haven't read it, you should check it out. Invasion of the Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. What if the people around you weren't themselves anymore? They look the same, they talk the same, but something feels off. Their emotions are missing. Their personalities are empty. And one by one, everyone you know is changing. That's the terrifying premise of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, one of the most influential alien invasion horror stories of all time. Written by Jack Finney in 1955, this classic taps into the paranoia of losing yourself and the fear that no one will believe you. The novel follows Dr. Miles Bennell, a small-town doctor who begins noticing a disturbing trend: patients claiming their loved ones have been replaced. And the eerie part? These replaced people look identical, but there's something missing. No emotions, no real humanity. As the story unfolds, Miles discovers seed pods growing in secret, duplicating human bodies while their real counterparts vanish. And the worst part? No one believes him. The horror of Invasion of the Body Snatchers doesn't come from monsters with sharp teeth or laser guns. It's psychological terror, the idea that you can't trust anyone, not even your loved ones. That you might be the last real human left. And worse, what if it happens to you next? Invasion of the Body Snatchers has been remade 4 times in film, proving just how timeless its paranoia is. It's inspired everything from The Thing to Stranger Things to The Faculty. And it still works today because it reflects real-world fears that haven't gone away, like government control, mass hysteria, and conformity. The pod people are a perfect metaphor for losing our individuality, and it plays on the deepest human fear: losing our identity. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of the greatest sci-fi horror stories ever written, because it taps into something universal: the fear that the world around you is changing, and you have no control over how it's going to end up. All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. Keiji Kariya is a new recruit in humanity's war against the Mimics, an alien species seemingly impossible to defeat. This is Groundhog Day meets Starship Troopers. It's got a time loop mechanic that adds a unique twist to the typical war narrative. The aliens are an overwhelming, mysterious force, and that they are barely understood makes them even scarier. And it delves into an exploration of the strategy, skill building, and psychological strain that someone would receive from dying over and over and over again. It is action-packed and cinematic. It was the inspiration for Edge of Tomorrow, that sci-fi movie starring Tom Cruise that was better than anyone should have expected it to be. It is a perfect blend of sci-fi, war, and time manipulation. It's short, fast-paced, and thrilling, great for anyone who loves video game-style storytelling. Pandora's Star by Peter F. Hamilton. Set a few hundred years in the future, after humanity has developed wormholes and advanced spaceships, an astronomer discovers a distant star has suddenly disappeared. Believing it might have been enclosed by what's known as a Dyson sphere, a structure big enough to wrap an entire star, a mission is sent to investigate. What they find is worse than anything they could have imagined: an ancient imprisoned alien race, called the Primes. And once they're freed, they are not happy. This is a slow burn invasion, where humanity kicks off its own problems by accidentally releasing a devastating alien species from its prison. And it's not just about war, but about diplomacy, espionage, and strategy. And here, the humans are the invaders. We're not always the good guys when it comes to alien invasion stories. This story is epic in scale. It's got a huge cast of characters, multiple storylines, and a galaxy-spanning conflict. It's got hard sci-fi elements, advanced physics, alien intelligence, and deep world building. It's great for fans of big, sprawling sci-fi like Dune or The Expanse. Those are the kind of books you're into. You'll definitely enjoy this one. Which type of alien invasion story is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. If you love deep dive sci-fi discussions, don't forget to subscribe. Next time I'm covering artificial intelligence, a threat that feels all too real these days. So hit the bell and you won't miss it. And hey, if you enjoyed this, give it a like. I appreciate it.